Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataaya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketase cha. So we have to resume from your PDF notebook number 38 and Gita Press Mantra 10, page 122. Vayur Yatha Ekah. Ready? Yeah. Sambandha Bhaashyam. तथा अन्यः दृष्टान्तः
तदा अन्यान्तदृष्टः
वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टः
वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टः
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च.
Once again, वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टः
वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टः
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च
रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च.
So last time, the previous mantra we saw that an example was given. Agnihi yatha. Yatha means just as. So example was given. And just as that Agni Tattvam, which we know is everywhere. Agni Tattvam is there everywhere. In fact, Akashaha is there everywhere. Akashaha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi is there everywhere. How? Because our model is like it's because I don't see does not mean it does not exist. Atoms are there. They're all they're all pieces, tangible pieces. So any material, any molecule is Prithvi. So everything is there everywhere. I thought of an example yesterday. We saw the Agni example last week. Those days we used to be very excited when we got a convex lens. Somebody told this idea. You take a convex lens, and in Hyderabad, like in many other states of India, heat in the summer heat is enough to burn all of us. So we thought, why don't we use that heat effect properly? So to use a proper nice game. So we used to take that lens, keep a piece of paper underneath, and then slowly focus the sunlight. Focus. Focus first. You have to make that point, that little point, bright spot. You have to reduce. Afterwards, it won't reduce anymore. And then you keep it there like that. Your hand should not shake. Maybe like this. A good practice, We don't do yoga. We do these kinds of things. And then after a while, paper catches fire. It starts burning. Why should it burn? There is no matchbox. There is no trigger. What is the trigger for the paper to burn? Agni Yathaipo. So Agni is there. Tattvam is there everywhere. And so that example was stated in the ninth mantra. Now, Sambandha Bhaashyam. Tatha Anyaha Drishtantaha. Drishtantaha. Another illustration is going to be given. He's saying, Shankaracharya is saying. To illustrate what? What did we learn from the previous mantra? Agnihi ekaha eva. Atma ekaha eva. But appears to have gained location, plurality, form, things like that. Like Agni has gained it, Atma also we think is plural, is many. Atma Bahutva. Except for the Advaita Vedanti, everybody else, even the greatest philosophers of the West and the East, they talk about Atma Bahutva. All the Shad Darshanas, except the Advaita Vedanti, everybody talks about Atma is many. Atma Satyam, Jagat Satyam, Ishvara Satyam, everything is Satyam, and therefore Atma is many. You cannot get away from that. So, this we see that Abhinna Nimitta Upadana, Vivarta Upadana Karanam, you can't see this, right? All right. So, this mantra number 10, Vayu. Same mantra as number 9, except Agni replaced by Vayu. Therefore, Bhagavan Bhashyakara does not comment much at all on this. Previously, Agni Tattvam has taken the form of the logs of wood and all the things that can catch fire. Now, this Vayu Tattvam has entered the body and taken the form of the body. Human body, other types of bodies which need the Vayu, right? And so, Vayu has entered and become Pranamaya Kosha, taking the form of the Annamaya Kosha. Suppose you ask, what is the form of Pranamaya Kosha? Okay, there is air in the lungs, oxygen is there even in the blood. And so oxygen is there everywhere. Many places oxygen is there. In fact, that is why they put this oximeter. I don't know what nice technology it is. Oximeter. And then after a few seconds, they can blood oxygen content, SpO2. So oxygen is there everywhere. So we can previously, if we thought there is no oxygen here, but only in the lungs, we are mistaken. So that Vayu has become Pranamaya Kosha, taken the form of the Annamaya Kosha. And so, Sureshwaracharya, one of the students of Shankaracharya, those days, he gives an example of how when you make a Shiva Murti, you take copper, you melt the copper in a crucible and then pour it in a mold. Pour it in a mold of Nataraja. You pour it, and then that whole molten copper takes on the form of that Murti. Like that, he gives an example. Musha Nishikta Dhruta Tamravat, like that he says. Like that. So, and then what happens after death? What happens to Pranamaya after death?
Sukshma Sharira.
Leaves the body.
Right. So Pranamaya is part of Sukshma Sharira. We saw yesterday all the entire elements of the Sukshma Sharira. The Jnanendriyani, Karmendriyani, etc. They all join hands again and then depart together. So Pranamaya will depart. And next Janma, etc. It will take on the shape of whatever is deserving of the jiva. Can be an ant, can be a plant, or can be an elephant. Elephant, right? Ant, plant, or elephant. All right. So this mantra is almost identical to the previous mantra. So it's after all only an exam. Only an exam. It isn't big physics, logic. So much logic and all is not there in this mantra. Okay. If space itself cannot be divided, how can consciousness be divided? That by which I recognize space has to be subtler than space also. Space doesn't know consciousness, but consciousness knows space. So the subtler and subtler it becomes. Prithvi is solid. Solid mass you can see. Then slowly, then you have liquid, and then gas, and then Agni, and then Vayu can't see. Vayu can't see. But can't see all pervasive. Everywhere. Vayu is there everywhere. And space, even subtler, it's all pervasive. Chaitanyam is even more subtle. It's what makes me visualize all this. It's what makes me cognize all these things. Therefore, why should consciousness be divided? Space itself can't be divided. Okay, the logic. Okay, so those must be the points that should make us think about this. All right. And so, Atma Bahutvam, all these darshanas talk about, I think science is a little better. Science doesn't talk about Bahutvam. They're constantly looking for that fundamental particle or fundamental entity. Correct? And so I think science is at least a little better than all these people. All the yogis and Sankhyas and Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. You know why? They're all saying they have come to a conclusion that Atma is many. Science has not yet come to any conclusion. Okay? But they're always looking for that one thing. That way they think that the final truth is just one. So I think so I don't know. I don't know when I compare these two. Science, I don't think is going to they'll keep changing the final thing constantly. So they will be chasing their own tail. These darshanas have already concluded, so there is no question of conflict. I don't think you can compare both of them. So anyway, so these mantras 8 and 9, or rather 9 and 10, refute this idea of Atma Bahutvam, plurality of Atma. That's the summary. All right, let's read the Bhaashyam. वायुः यथा एकः
वायुः यथा एकः
इत्यादि
इत्यादि
प्राणात्मना
प्राणात्मना
देहेषु अनुप्रविष्टः
देहेषु अनुप्रविष्टः
रूपं प्रतिरूपः
रूपं प्रतिरूपः
बभूव इत्यादि समानम्.
बभूव इत्यादि समानम्.
Yeah, that's all the Bhaashyam. Imagine, could we even dream that Shankara would just give a very short Bhaashyam for a mantra? There it is. There it is. So, all right. Vayuhu yatha ekaha ityadi. So, this is a typical usage in Sanskrit, etc. Vayu yatha ekaha, etc. So, he is saying that's the mantra that I'm supposed to write on. But the only word that is different is Vayuhu. So, he's writing it this way. The mantra that I'm supposed to write on begins with Vayu. Okay. Yatha ekaha, etc. Right? And what is he saying? Pranatmana deheshu anupravishtaha. Dehesh has entered the bodies, anupravishta, entered the bodies and taken on the form of the bodies. That is why anu. Anu means Vayu is adjusting, adapting itself to the body. Pranamaya is adapting itself to the body. And that's how it is, right? Remember a couple of days ago we said Sukshma Sharira has all the elements required for a living being to function. But it goes into a plant, then suddenly the Pani, grasping part, right? The Karmendriya, hands, grasping part of the Sukshma Sharira and the locomotion part of the Sukshma Sharira, no use in the plant. So it is simply sitting in the back burner, like they say, just sitting, no use. So like that, here, Anupravishta, Pranatma, takes on whatever duty it has to do in that body. Anupravishta, Pranatmana, in the form of Pranamaya Kosha. Vayu. Vayu is connected to prana, therefore pranamaya kosha, not annamaya kosha, not manomaya kosha. It has to be pranamaya kosha, in the form of pranamaya. Therefore, in front of pranatmana, you can add the word vayu. Vayu. You can add the word vayu. Pranatmana deheshu anupravishta. Then what? Rupam pratirupo babhuva. Has entered many different bodies. Different bodies are there, animal bodies, human bodies. There's many species are there. So like that it has entered. Pratirupo Babuva, gained the forms, gained those new forms uh, in keeping with the shape of that being that the Vayu has entered. Pratirupaha Babuva. Babuva became taken on the form of that particular respective bodies. And then what? Respective bodies mean same, that ant, plant, and elephant, right? And then ityadi samana. Ityadi samana, rest, ityadi. He said, etc. Samana. I've already commented on that. Purvavat, you can even. Maniprabha says Purvavat. Purvavat, like before, like the previous mantra. The rest of the mantra is to be commented, the commentary of the rest of the mantra is identical to the commentary of the previous. That is what Shankaracharya says. So, both mantras 9 and 10 refutes plurality of Atma. All right, let's do the Anvaya. Same as before again. Yatha ekaha vayu bhuvanam dehadishu pravishtaha. Bhuvanam dehadishu pravishtaha. Dehadishu supplied. Pravishtaha sun supplied. Rupam pratirupo babhuva. प्रविष्टः सन् रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव. That's the example, comma. तथा एकः सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा. तथा एकः सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव. Or better, रूपं prati supplied, प्रतिरूपो बभूव.
Is it again Babhuva?
Yeah,
That's
it
about
says
Babu.
Bahishcha, right?
Babu was
Bahishcha.
supplied. Babu was supplied. Full stop. Sentence ends there. Rupam rupam prati. Prati rupo babuva. Babuva supplied. Full stop. The last sentence is Atma bahihi cha bhavati. Atma and bhavati supplied.
Can you repeat the second sentence again, Jakumarji?
Yeah.
Tatha eka.
Alright. So let me repeat the whole thing. Yatha ekaha vayuhu bhuvanam dehadishu pravishtaha san rupam rupam pratirupo babhuva kama tatha ekaha sarvabhutantaratma rupam rupam pratirupo babhuva. Full stop. Atma bahihi cha bhavati. Full stop.
Guruji, the Prati Rupo is there in the Moolam also, no? So we don't need to supply.
See, rupam rupam prati. The prati goes with rupam rupam. Rupam rupam prati, prati rupo bhav. With respect to all the different forms, the Vayu takes those respective forms. The prati is respective, and the first prati is with respect to. With respect to
So
all, it takes on the respect.
in the first line, there prati is not supplied. No.
Ama, not
No.
supplying. We are supplying from Shankara's Bhaashyam. If you look at Shankara's Bhaashyam, you will find Rupam Rupam Prati. Correct? Am I correct?
Dehadishu, the Sha is Shashti Sha or
Yes.
Shankara Sha?
Shashti.
Dhanyavad.
Adesha Pratyayo. Okay? Let's move on here to the next mantra, number 11. Sambandha Bhaashyam.
I'm actually outside, not in Bangalore.
Okay. Ekasya sarvatmatve
Ekasya sarvatmatme
samsara dukkhitvam
samsara dukkhitvam
parasya eva
parasya eva
syad iti.
syat iti.
You can put in brackets tad iti. The Gita press says tad iti. Okay, both are required. So also in brackets tad iti.
Taditi
Praptam.
praptam
Stop. Ataha.
ataha
Idam uchyate.
idam uchyate.
Yeah. So a brilliant objection by a Purva Pakshi. This is the way Shankaracharya is introducing the next one. These connections are so crucial. The connections are as important as the mantra itself. In order to understand, the story, whenever somebody is telling the story, if you don't connect what's going to come up with what's going in the past, then you ask, what happened? And what happened in between? Wait a minute, you're skipping. So we used to complain to our grandmother. And she skipped. No, you can't skip like that. No, later on, the deer and all came, Yeah, like that we should say. So, Shankaracharya is connecting. Ekasya sarvatmatve. Hey, you are telling me that Atma is one. Ekaha. Like Agni Tattvam is one, Vayu Tattvam is one. You're telling me Atma is Ekaha. We are all saying Atma is Anekaha, but you are saying Atma is Ekaha. Okay, all right. I'll take that. But I see a problem. Problem is, Samsara dukkitvam asti. Samsara is dukkha. Dukkhavat, it's all with potential sorrow waiting. Misery is just waiting. So samsara dukkitvam means anatma dukkitvam. Because atma is ekaha. And dukkha, atma doesn't have dukkha and all. You say, hey, the whole world universe is the cause for sorrow. Anatma. Samsara is equal to anatma. All the properties of this anatma, whatever it is, parasya eva syat. Parasya eva syat. Means what? Parasya. Paramatmanaha. Parasya means that infinite atma you are talking about. No? That entire dukkitvam will now belong to this one atma. Because atma is one, all pervasive. It only has to absorb all the dukkitvam. It belongs to atma. You say anatma is nitya also, you have said. As though does not exist. So that means all this dukkhatvam and all belongs to, all the doshas of anatma belong to atma. Parasya eva, atmanaha eva, syat, iti praptam. That's the conclusion I'm going to come to. Iti praptam. This is the problem. What praptam means what? This is the conclusion. What kind of conclusion it is? It's called sangha doshaha. Hey, Atma is there everywhere. Therefore, it's very much connected to Anatma. It's not sitting somewhere else. Therefore, the Sangha dosha will be there. Sangha dosha is there everywhere. Everywhere Sangha dosha is there. You wear clothes, you can't wear it for some time. You have to wash it. Why? Because Sangha dosha. Sangha dosha. People also, after living together, they decide to change partners these days. So Sangha dosha, it's always there. Whatever you do, Sangha dosha will be there. This kind of a Purvapakshaha, Sangadoshaha, Praptam. And that is the conclusion I'm going to come to. Ataha idam uchyate. Therefore, the following mantra is said by Yamadharmaraja. Okay, that's how Shankaracharya is introducing this one. Let's see.
Jayakvarji, what did you say about Sarvatmatve again?
Yeah. Atma is all pervasive. Sarva Bhutantaratma, you said. This Atma is not one Atma. It is the same Atma that is there everywhere. Inside everything. Living and non-living. And therefore, Atma has to reflect all the problems of the Anatma. Atma is not sitting, you said Atma is not sitting somewhere quietly. No. Therefore, that's the problem. That's the problem Atma will be stuck with. For which Shankaracharya, Ayamadharmaraja is saying following mantra. Okay? Whoever is next. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu.
Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu.
न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषैः
न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषैः
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः
न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः
सूर्यो यथा सर्वलोकस्य चक्षुः
सूर्यो यथा सर्वलोकस्य चक्षुः
न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषः
न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषैः
दोषैः correct. एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः
न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः
Yeah. So another example is given. Yatha, you saw the word yatha. So yatha means example is given. Rishta. Suryaha. Here an example of Surya is given. So this is a good Purva Paksha. Very good one, right? I mean, it's sometimes it strikes us, how come we didn't think of it like that, we say. But we appreciated Satyam. And so the Asangatvam is very important to appreciate. That so this mantra is useful for that. The Sangatvam, the fact that the Sangha is there, our Vidyaranya Muni talks about in Panchadis, there are some mantras, beautiful mantras. He says, I just say some things, you don't have to write the Sanskrit words and all. He says, Thulam Sukshmam Karanancha, Shariram Trividam Smritam. Hey, there are three types of Shariras. It's called Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. All right? Then that we know, Avashyam Trividaha Asti Eva Tatra Tatrochito Jvaraha. There are three types of bodies. There are also three types of jvaras. I think you all understand. Three types of problems also will be there if there are three types of shariras. Okay, correspondingly, three types of problems. Okay, all right, all right. Then, what about Stula Shariram? Does Stula Shariram have any problems? Let's see. Okay, what does he say? He says, Durganditvam, odor, bad odor, it seems. And then, Kurupatvam, bad forms, all crooked forms, etc. Daha Dhangadayas Tatha, deformity, inflammation, and fracture. Those things are there. Those are the problems with this Sthula Shariram. So those days also inflammation was there. Okay? Don't think they were all Ayurvedic, this thing and all. And their bodies were all very good. No, no, sir. They also had all kinds of problems. And so, but one thing different from those days to here. Today we have $1 billion-trillion perfume industry that they may not have that big of an industry. Some industry must have been there. But that's one difference. All right. So Sthula Sharira has all these problems. What about Sukshma Sharira? Does it have any problems? Let's see. Okay. Kama Krodha Dayaha Shanti Dantya Jaha Linga Deha Kaha. So the entire body, it has some problems. Desire, anger, Kama Krodha, Lobha, Moha, all these things are there, it seems. On the one hand, these are the problems are there. But then it is also capable of Shama, Dama, Shantya, it's the Shama, Dantya, it's Dama. All this capacity is there. The presence of Kama Krodha and the absence of Shama and Dama is a perfect cause for misery for the human. What is the recipe for misery? The presence of these doshas called Kama Krodha and the absence of Shama and Dama. Shastra never says you can't have Kama and Krodha. Everybody has Kama and Krodha. But you must be balanced. You must have an equal amount of Shama and Dama. So that this combination, powerful combinations, will lead to misery, complete misery for the being, right? That is the problem of Shukshma Sharira. All right. What about Karana Shariram? I never know of Karana Shariram. As though we get up in the morning and look for Karana Shariram. None of us looks for Karana Shariram. It's some Shariram Shastra is talking about. All right. Does it have any problems? Pam param cha na vetyatma vinashtaha ivakarane agami dukkha bijam. Hey, this Karana Sharira is it has one problem. It's called avidya. Okay. It's called avidya. And it's what keeps me going and it gives me another birth also. And Karana Shariram only gives me another birth. And so it's not ordinary. Don't think it is dormant. It is just sitting and doing nothing. And like that, you should not think. And so agami dukkha bijam. Agami, future. Future bijam. Dukkha bijam. It's a seed for all future problems. This is how Panchadashikara, Vidyaranya Muni, he has written 24 or more texts, Vedanta texts. And in his spare time, he created the Vijayanagaram Empire. That is our Vidyaranya Muni. Amazing, it's amazing. All right. So this is what is the general topic of discussion here. And so therefore, what is our immediate idea will be what? Knee-jerk reaction. Oh, therefore I must be clean. I'll clean up my body. Okay. Then Sukha Sharira also I have to take care of. Just Shama, Dama and all I have to improve. Correct. Antakarana Shuddhi, I have to do that. No doubt about that. I have to do that. He has to be constantly clean. Nobody says, oh, I have to take a shower today also. Is it? Today also I have to take a shower? Is it every day? What about alternate days? Is that acceptable? So like some people are like that. So you have to do all that, no doubt about that. But you can never completely purify. 100% purification not possible at all. And so here, look at this. He's saying, Yete jvaraha, these problems, Yete jvaraha, swabhavikaha mata, they are also natural to these shariras. You don't resist it. You take care of it, maintain it, constantly maintain it. Viyoge too, but if you try to remove these jvaras from these shariras, you know what he's saying? Nasate, he says, the body will cease to function. Only when the body stops functioning, all the jvaras will go. That means you have to go. The jvaras must be there. You just keep on maintaining. Whatever you have to do, you have to keep doing. That's what he's saying. So beautiful it is. So here in this mantra, na lipyate. Yatha suryaha na lipyate. Hey, the sun is illumining all the entire universe. Okay, entire earth, let's say. Entire earth. And it illumines everything that comes in its way. Sugandham also it illumines, Durgandham also it illumines. Dirt, mala, everything it illumines. But guess what? The sun is unaffected by any of the things it illuminates. Correct? Sun is totally unaffected. Neither is it elated to show the sannyasi to the rest of the world or the, the, the dirt that's flowing on the road. Okay? It's not affected either way. That's the message here. And of course, Atma Bahutva Nirasaha also. The plurality of Atma also is being negated by this one. Because Ekaha Suryaha. All right, that's the message. So we'll look at the Bhaashyam. As you can see, the Bhaashyam is a little big on this. Very good. Suryo Yatha Chakshushaha.
Suryaha yatha chakshushaha
Alokena
alokena
Upakaram Kurvan
upakaram kurvan
Mutra Purishadi
mutra purishadi
Ashuchi Prakashena.
ashuchi prakashanena
Sorry.
prakashena
Okay, Prakashanena
ashuchi prakashanena
Darshinaha
tadharshinaha
Sarvalokasya Chakshuhu Api San
sarvalokasya chakshuhu api san
Na Lipyate
na lipyate
Chakshushahi
chakshushaihi
Ashuchyadi
ashucyadi
Darshana Nimittaihi
darshana nimittaihi
Adhyatmikaihi
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 Papadoshaihi
papadoshaihi
Bahyaihi Cha
bahyaihi cha
Ashuchyadi
ashucyadi
Samsargadoshaihi.
samsargadoshaihi.
Yeah. So now the Drishtanta is given. The example of the sun. Acharya is explaining. Suryaha yatha, just as the sun. Alokena. Alokena. So, aloka means effulgence, illumination. By its illumination. That is the meaning of the word alokena. Alokena. Loka. Lok is to look, see, make somebody see. Lok. And so, the word look comes from lok. So, aloka, with its capacity to make people see. Okay? But sun alone cannot make people see, because a blind person cannot see anything, regardless of however bright the sun is. Therefore, here Shankaracharya says, Alokena chakshushaha upakaram kurvan. Chakshush means eyes, eye. Assists the eyes. The sun is assisting the eye. How does it assist the eye? Because eye by itself can't see. It has the capacity to see, but guess what? It needs some light must be there. Even the cat, they say the cat's pupil just enlarges like this, and it can, even in darkness, it can see. But even that cat requires some little bit of light, so it can catch that light. Right? And so I've seen the pupil of the cat that it just goes up like that, goes up. Have you seen it? And then goes down like that. Just expands and contracts. Okay. Upakaram kurvan. Why? Why? Because of course, for the eyes to function, the eye has to function. The sense organs have to function. Because we need that to operate, to transact with the world. Rotram chakshusparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha adhishtaya manashchayam vishayan upasevate. The Vishaya Upasevanam we have to do. Yesterday only we saw that. And so, for that sake, upakar karta hai. Surya upakar karta hai aankhon ka. And in what way? Mutra purishadi ashuchi prakashanena. By illuminating everything, including, in brackets you must put that, including impurities, impure things, dirty things. Okay, like mutra purishadi, like urine and excretions and all that. Okay, ashuchi. Even that also the sun doesn't mind at all. I am going to eliminate everything. That's it. Without complaining. This is that. I won't make any judgment at all. Okay, I'm going to brighten up everything. Okay. Like mutra purishadi, prakashini. Tad darshinaha sarvalokasya chakshuhu api sam. Okay. So becomes sarvalokasya chakshuhu. It becomes the eye of the entire world of people, humanity. Here loka can be humanity, because only living beings have this eyes, etc. Okay. So sarvalokasya chakshuhu. Surya becomes the one eye of the entire humanity. Let's say humanity, right? It becomes the eye of all those taddarshinaha, of all those who see everything, including mutra purishadi. Okay, people have the capacity to see all these things, and sun has become now the universal eye, as it were, for all the people who can see. Okay, that darshina. So Shankaracharya is careful. Look at how precise he is. He's saying, because the blind person can complain. He said, what it talk? I don't understand this example. He can say that. So tad darshina means for the people who see all these things, mutra purishadi. Just one word he inserts there. How beautiful it is. And then Api San, despite being so, despite, despite this description that was given, despite this job that the sun is doing, na lipyate, is not tainted. The sun is not affected, not blemished, not dirtied. Dirtied by all the things it eliminates, like Mutra Purishadi. Let's see, Shankaracharya is going to explain that. Chakshushahi doshaihi. Okay. Chakshushahi, you can bring in within brackets the doshaihi. The chakshushahi doshaihi, chakshu, the even eyes have defects. Okay. Even our eyes have defects. It's able to see but not see properly. So not see properly. Eye has, the sun has done its job, but the eye is having difficulty doing its job. So chakshushahi doshaihi na lipyate. The sun is not worried whether your eyes are able to see or not. It is happy to make, it wants you to see, but if you can't see, the sun will not have any guilt complex or anything else, any other complex. Okay. Chakshushahi doshaihi na lipyate. Okay. Not contaminated, not affected. Sun is not sullied by these problems. And so Shankara is explaining. Then he is explaining another type of dosha. Okay, that's one type of dosha. Then ashuchi adi darshana nimittaihi adhyatmikaihi papadoshihi bahyah cha ashuchi adi samsarga dosha. Now he's talking about two kinds of dosha. Chakshushahi doshahi over. Okay. Now he's talking about two kinds of defects or problems. Okay. One problem is just the physically, the things that are not good to see or come in contact. Okay. Like, for example, seeing things on TV, movies, horror movies, and things like that. And they always put a disclaimer, caution, violent images, something. They have a caution. This is not appropriate for children. Something like that they say. Because graphic images, yeah, that's it. They're graphic images. Okay. Why should they say that? Why should they say that? Because it's very obvious. The child is watching all these things. The child has not seen anything like this before. Now the child is going to get exposed to some graphic violence, and the observer of violence is a victim of violence. For children, I'm talking about children. Adults also, an adult keeps on watching this. What will happen? Vasana gets created. After some time, for that person, that becomes normal. Killing is normal. Abusing is normal. Beating up is normal. Stealing is normal. Becomes normal. Why? Because it's been watching all day long. So the person is affected by watching all these things, right? So that is what he is explaining here. Ashuchi adi darshana nimittaihi. Nimitta caused by darshana, watching or being exposed to, including ears and all that, exposed to all kinds of harsh music and harsh lyrics of the music, Some of the music, I'm surprised. I heard some songs before and I couldn't imagine. Just jarring, very beating, hitting, punching. This is the kind of lyrics that are there in the music. Okay. Nimittaihi darshana adi shuchi. So all these kinds of harsh, dirty. Dirty means dirty to see. Very, very vulgar sounds, lyrics. Okay. Nimittahi. Caused by all those things. Nimittahi. What happens? Adhyatmikaihi papadoshai. Now, the result is the person hasn't done anything wrong per se. No physical act has been committed, but vasana is being generated. Papa also may be generated. Shankara is saying yes, can be generated because the thought has occurred. Now it's only a matter of time before that vasana manifests in the person's life. And so that is adhyatmikaihi, which means subtle. Adhyatma here means subtle. Subtle. These are all very subtle impacts. Subtle impacts. Suddenly people say there is a shooting that happened in the school. And then they all wonder, all the research team works. What happened to this? Who is this boy? And then they are, no, very nice boy. and very friendly and all this. Then how come? How come he shot the teachers and his friends? This is very harsh. India, I don't know. I have not seen such news, at least in the last 10 years I've been here. I've not seen that news. But in America, periodically you hear this school shooting. And then they do some research, they find out. And then there's big, immediately politics enters, the gun lobby will come, and this will come, this. Every year it repeats. Some karma is there, collective karma. Anyway, Papa, this is called Papa, this one type of dosha, correct? Dosha of just being exposed to these kinds of ashuchi, okay, gross things. All right. Another type of dosha is there. What is that? Bhahyaha cha. Shankaracharya is saying, I'm going to explain what that is. He says, Ashuchi adi samsarga doshaihi. Samsarga means literal contact with dirty things. Eating wrong foods, okay, like potato chips and other things constantly from morning to evening. And ashuchi, dirty stuff also, okay, and external blemishes. Physical contact with impurity, not good. And so that physical contact also, if you can imagine anything like that, then Bhahyahacha, those kinds of defects are also there. So he's saying all this is happening. The sun is watching all this. Not affected by the defects of the eyes, not affected by the things that this guy is doing. Also, sun is not affected by that. Okay, that is the way to understand the statement. Then let's read the next one. Did we read it? Yeah, we have to read the next sentence. This is the example. Now Shankaracharya is going to comment on the Ekaha san
एकः सन्
tatha
तथा
sarvabhutantaratma
सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
na lipyate
न लिप्यते
lokadukkhena
लोकदुःखेन
bahyaha.
बाह्यः.
Let's read the next one also. Lokaha
लोकः
hi
हि
avidyaya
अविद्यया
swatmani
स्वात्मनि
adhyastaya
अध्यस्तया
kama karmodbhavam dukkham anubhavati.
कामकर्मोद्भवं दुःखम् अनुभवति.
Yeah, pause there. So, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is stating the next statement. The second half of the mantra is stated here. Ekaha san tata sarva bhutantaratma na lipyate lokadukkhena bhakya. And the rest of the Bhaashyam is going to explain that conclusion that is being drawn by Yama. So, Ekaha san, being one, this Atmas, which is sarva bhutantara, which is the reality, the inner essence, the self of all beings and all things, sarva bhutantaratma, na lipyate, is not affected, not tainted by this loka dukkha, by whatever attribute is there for this samsara, for this universe, for this world that the human being encounters. By those attributes, Atma is na lipyate. Okay, full stop. You have to put a full stop there. Then one word comes, Bhahyaha. Now, the entire Bhaashyam is meant to explain the word Bhahyaha. Yes, now. Because that's a crux we can imagine now. Bhahya. He's saying Because Atma is Bhashyaha. That is the way to understand. What you can do is you put a full stop there after Loka Dukkena. Then you can say Atma Bhashyaha. Like that, if you say, you can follow the sentence. Now, Bhashyaha, literal meaning of Bhashyaha is what? Outside. Bahihi, which is outside, is called Bhashyaha. Which is outside. Atma is outside. Suppose we translate this sentence. This is how they translate also. Suppose you translate it like that and understand it like that also. Atma is outside means what? We get into serious problems here. Okay, Atma is outside is what will happen? A, first of all, it is self-contradictory. Why? Because Sarva Bhutantar Atma. It is the inner essence of everything. It is there in and through everything that you are talking about. Mutra Purisha also inside Atma is there. Human body also Atma is there. And you are saying Bahya outside? Shruti Virodha. Shruti Virodha, okay, is there. It can't mean that. And it is also Yukti Virodha. Huh? Yukti Virodha. Means logic also it doesn't. Logic also. A long time ago, we saw 3 or 4 definitions for the word Atma. How many of you remember that? Means remember not, you don't, okay, we studied those 3 or 4 definitions of Atma, right? It comes in many pages ago, okay? It comes. So he quotes a particular Shruti, there it is. In Gita Press, page number 95. Yachapnoti yada. This is mantra number 1. 211. 211. If you want to go back to 211. And in the middle of the Bhaashyam, huge long Bhaashyam, there he gives 4 meanings for Atma, correct? So there, one of the meanings given is Vyapnoti. Apnoti Vyapnoti iti Atma. Atma is Sarva Vyapi. It is all pervasive. That is the meaning of the word Atma. Atma itself means that. Therefore, even if you go by logic, etymological derivation of the word, if you go, then also this Bhakyaha is contradictory. So, Yukti Virodaha, it will be contrary to logic. First one, contrary to Shruti. Second, contrary to logic. Yeah. Then what? Then, Anubhava Virodaha. Anubhava Virodaha. A, if Atma is not here, it is Bhahyaha, out there, somewhere out there. Then the body can't be conscious. Because body is Jadam. It is simply a pack of Panchabhuta. And Panchabhuta can't survive. And Panchabhuta stone also is Panchabhuta. But something has to be manifest in this body to make the body conscious. And so, Anubhava Virodaha. It is contrary to my own experience. I am conscious of the body. Body is not conscious of me. My goodness, where is that consciousness coming from? If somebody were to ask, Atma has to be included in the equation. So, saying Atma is outside is not correct. It's not correct. Okay? Therefore what? What should we do? But the word Bahya is there. Shankaracharya is, what I mean, Shruti, am I saying it? So what do you do? Well, every word has 2 meanings. What are the 2 meanings? One is literal meaning. Literal meaning. Vachyartaha. In Sanskrit, we call it Vachyartaha. Another is implied meaning. Implied meaning. Hey, what does it really communicate? What did you really understand by the word? It's called Lakshyartaha. I told you, Vikram, you're a lion, somebody says. You're a lion means what? It is like, who is that boy? Uh, Nala's son, I think. I think Nala's son, Bharata.
Shakuntala's son.
Shakuntala's son.
Shakuntala's son.
Yeah, right, Shakuntala's son. So, like a lion. You say, he used to play around with lions. You're a lion. Means you're a human being, no doubt. But you're a lion. All your attributes are like that of the attributes of Allah. Okay? That's the meaning. So like that, you have to understand those statements. So that's the idea here. Okay. So can clay say, I am unaffected by what happens to pot? The entire pot is clay. My goodness. All pervasive. Clay is all pervasive. And the pot is worried that I am a small pot. And look at that pot so big, how muscular it is. And the muscle to fat ratio of that pot. These days they have this muscle to fat, some index they have. And it must be, for young people, it must be 70%. As you get older, it can reduce to 60, like that. There is some. This America is very good at producing tables. They have tables and tables of stuff. And now they are revising their tables also. The sugar, postprandial sugar has been revised, by the way. It's not 140, gone up all the way to 200. I'm just shocked at this. And anyway, that's just, mind is just thinking aloud. That's all. So this part is saying, look at that part. So muscular, it's so visible, so smart. Everybody is coming, taking the water from the pot. I am this pot sitting here in this corner. Once a week, twice a week, maximum thrice a week, this pot comes out. I have no job satisfaction. Okay. That is what this pot says. But you know what? The clay can say, guess what? I am all pervasive. I'm there in that pot also. I'm there in this pot also. So I am unaffected by all your problems. Clay can just say that and walk away. And so that kind of enlightenment this pot should have. Pot should have. Clay doesn't need enlightenment. Pot only needs enlightenment. Clay is clay. And so that's the idea here. What is the idea? The idea is two orders of reality. Two orders of reality. This is an example only. This is an example. Still, it's a useful example. Orders of reality means what? Whatever happens in my dream, I had a nightmare last night. But guess what? When I wake up, I say, thank God it was a nightmare. Means what? Thank God I am not affected by all the things that I saw in my dream. Even though I am the one who created the dream, I am the one who sustained the dream. The entire dream world happened by me only. I gave the material for the dream. Still, I am not affected by the dream. I can say that. But in this waking world, can I say that? Can I say that is a question. Samsara swapnatulyo hi agadveshadi sankulaha. Hey, Jagat also is no different, really speaking. You don't have to be affected by what happens. Like that Shastram is saying. So two orders of reality. Vikra is going to give more examples, okay? I'll just hold off on those examples. And so this is the idea we're going to get into. And so let's read the next. Did I explain that? Yeah, I did not explain it, right? Lokaha hi avidyaya swatmani adhyastaya kama karmodbhavam dukkham anubhavati. Shankaracharya is making a bold statement. This is called Sangraha Vakya. I'm going to explain all these things later, but this is the summary of what I'm going to say. Okay? Lokaha hi, the world, people, lokaha here means people. The people, dukkham anubhavati. They experience sorrow. They experience sorrow. And what kind of dukkham? Kama karma udbhavam dukkham. Yeah, kama is there, ragadvesha is there, and then because of that, it impels me to act, and so karma also happens. So caused by kama and karma, udbhavam, caused by kama and karma, created by karma, etc. dukkha also comes. Along with all my accomplishments, I'm getting dukkha also constantly. And so, lokaha dukkham anubhavati. Okay. And he says how it happens. How does this dukkham happen? He says, avidyaya adhyastaya. Avidyaya adhyastaya. Very bold statements. Swatmani. Okay. Adhyastaya. Adhyasta means what? Superimposition. By superimposing. By superimposing all these problems that I say I have, by superimposing all the problems where? Atmani, on Atma. This is the thesis of Advaita Vedanta. This is it. This is it. No other person will talk of Adhyasa. No other Darshana will talk about Adhyasa. This is it. Adhyastaya. And that happens why? Why am I doing this projection, this superimposition? Because avidyaya. Because of ignorance, not knowing my real nature. I am forced to project. I am forced to project. Going on for so many janmas, and now also it's happening. Okay. So Atmani adhyastaya kama karmodhyamam dukkam anubhavati. Right? All right. That's not difficult to follow. That sorrow is projected on Atma. Everything is happening all right. Let it happen. Can I say let it happen? No. I take that problem on to myself. As though something has happened to me. Something happened to the body, acceptable. I am experiencing pain, acceptable. Therefore, I am subject to sorrow. That's the problem. Okay. So he's going to explain this now, right? Very interesting it's going to be. Let's read the next sentence. Nahi
Nahi
sharirasya.
sharirasya.
Sorry, did I read the? I'm reading the wrong. Sorry.
Wrong. Natu sa.
Natu sa
Natu sa.
paramarthataha
Paramarthataha.
swatmani
Swatmani.
yatha
Yatha.
Rajju Shukti Koshara Gaganeshu.
Rajju Shakti Koshara Gaganeshu.
It is Shukti, not Shakti.
Okay. Rajju Shukti Koshara Gaganeshu.
Sarpa Rajatodaka Malani.
Sarpa Rajatodaka Malani.
Na Rajvadinam.
Na Rajwadinam.
Swataha
Swataha.
Dosha Rupani Santi.
Dosha Rupani Santi.
So he's saying Natu Sa Paramarthataha Swatmani. Sa. Sa means, Sa is referring to what here? Avidya. Lokaha hi avidya. That avidya. Sa avidya. In reality, Atma has no avidya. In reality, he's beginning that explanation by this sentence. Paramarthadaha. In reality, though, Atma, Sa avidya. Swatmani na asti. It is not there in Atma. Atma is not subject to avidya. Have a mind, and so the mind can think anyway. Mind needs to be told sometimes what is what. And so that is how the situation is. And so he is giving an example. Yatha Rajjuhu Shukti Koshara Gaganeshu. He is giving 4 examples. In that one phrase, there are 4 examples. Okay. Let's see what it is. You take the first word, Rajju, and then take the first word of the next compound, Sarpa Rajatodaka Malani. So connect the Rajju to Sarpa. Yatha, Just like in the situation where the snake sarpa is seen on the rope rajjuhu, or just as Rajata silver is seen on Shukti shell. In the night, when the full moon night, when you walk in the beach, you will see a lot of shining things. Why? Because that shell, the shell on the beach, will be reflecting the moonlight, and it will look as though it's like a bright silver drop. Okay, that's how it will look. That example is giving. Like that silver that you see, people see on that shell, Shukti, or like the Udaka. There you have to split the word properly. Rajata and Udaka. Okay, that's why it is Rajatodaka. So, like Udaka, Jalam, that is water. Like water is seen on Koshara, desert sand on a hot day. Okay, like water is seen on the sand on a hot day, Koshara. Or like Malam. Malam means impurities, dust. Like dust is seen in space, Gaganam, space. And we say space is polluted. So in the first example, I say there is a snake and there is really no snake, and I run from the snake. In the second example, I see there is silver. Oh my God, I got lucky today, and I go after that silver. One thing is what kind of adhyasa it is? The first one, it is called Ashobhana adhyasa. It's a projection which makes me run away from that object. In the second case, it is called Shobhana adhyasa. It makes me go towards that object. Entire life is like that. Either I go towards something or I retreat from something. Those two examples are used in our Shastra constantly. And this Udaka Koshara, projection again, and then Malam Gaganam, another projection. Space is polluted. When I say space can never be polluted, air can be polluted, but space not polluted. That is the example. Then he says, Na Rajwadinam Swataha Dosha Rupani Santi. I think you understand all these things. Swataha, by itself, the snake, the shell, the desert sand, and the space, they don't have these defects at all. They don't have the things that you're talking about. So vehemently you're talking. The two. They don't have any of these attributes. There is no snake at all. There is no silver at all. There is no water at all. There is no impurity at all in touching this space. And so, that is what he's saying. Na Rajwadinam Swatah, by itself, in reality, Dosha Rupani na Santi. They don't have any defects at all. Snake does not, the rope does not have a defect at all. Does not have the thing that you are seeing in it. Effect, see, Dosha Rupani, defect. But seeing silver on shell, is it a defect or not? Well, it's a projection. So projection is a defect only. You see, when I see things that are different from what actually presents themselves, then it's a defect only. I have to see things as they are. That is why this moha, vimudaha, we saw in Sanskrit in the Bhagavad Gita. Vimudaha, mohudat. That is what moha is. Moha, delusion, means what? When I'm unable to assess things exactly as they are, then mohaha. Nasan. Those objects don't have the things that you see in them. That's the idea, right? All right. So it's a good place to stop, I think. So it gives you something to look forward. Aage kya hoga? Part 2. This movie intermission. Tan in Indian movies, everybody is watching. Suddenly intermission. Oh. No, don't worry. It's not over yet. Your money's worth you're going to get. After you can still go have Coke and popcorn and all that. Come back. 10 minutes we'll start. So we'll pause there. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.